Come now.
Yo, what is going on, guys? Today I'm going to be showing you exactly how to make that amazing audio visualizer you saw in the intro in DaVinci Resolve. Now, the good thing about this is that you literally don't even have to know anything about this software. Even if you are an absolute beginner, like you just downloaded DaVinci, I'm going to show you exactly how to make that visualizer. So the first thing you want to do is download a plugin. So go to this website right here. The link is in the description, and scroll down and click this button right here. Once you do, you will get a file that looks something like this: reactorinstaller.lua. All you got to do is just drag that into DaVinci Resolve. In fact, go to the Fusion page and then drag it. Now, I've already done that. If you go to Workspace, Scripts, Reactor, open Reactor, you will get a pretty nice page when it loads. You will get this page right here. We are going to install 3 nodes for this. First one is XGlow. Click that, click install. The next one is audio waveform, so this one. And the next one is suck less audio. Just those 3, okay? And once you've installed them, restart your software. Right, now let's make the visualizer. First thing you need is a song. I've selected the best song in the universe, which is Idols by Virtual Riot. Pretty good song. It's from Geometry Dash. But anyways, start a new Fusion composition. Right, drag that here and make sure it spans for the duration of your song. Now, if you are a beginner, I recommend you watch this entire video uninterrupted and then watch it a second time, and then that's the time where you follow along and do your shenanigans, right? So if you are a beginner, what I like to do is press Ctrl-Alt-K and search open in Fusion. And then right here, there shouldn't be anything here, right? There's an invisible box here. It's pretty annoying, but you have to click it and just type in F. And same with here, just click this box and type F. Save. This will save you so much time. All you have to do if you want to edit a Fusion composition is you just click a clip and then press F. Before, you would literally have to right click and find open in Fusion page. It's a little nightmare, and sometimes when you click the Fusion page, if you have multiple clips on top of each other, it will not always open the clip that you want to open. So having this keybind is very useful. Now let's start making the visualizer. First, we want to add audio waveform. Connect that to media 1 out. Now, if this Fusion page is really scary to you, don't worry, bro. Like, you'll literally get it, bro. I'm just trust me, bro. You'll get it by the end of this video. Anyways, here we need to paste the file of our song. So I'm gonna go here, press this Control-Shift-C and paste it, reload sample. And there you have it. We have the waveform. Now, we can change this. If we click Spectrum, turn down the scale. From rough, change it to smooth. We're gonna do something that's pretty smart. Add a transform node. I'm gonna change this to 0.25. The aspect, I'm gonna change to 2. And we're gonna change the size down to 0.5. There we go. And by the way, if you want to preview a node, all you gotta do is just click the node and press either 1 or 2 on your keyboard. That corresponds to either this screen or this screen. And yes, 1 screen isn't enough. They gave us 2 flipping screens, which is pretty awesome. We're gonna do this again. And you'll understand why we have two of these things sort of duplicated, I guess. And you want to do this, except you move this from 0.25 to 0.75. Press this 1. So what we've done is we basically copied what was originally one audio waveform that just went throughout, and we copied it twice. And you'll realize why that's important later on. But yeah, that's all we have to do. Just two transform nodes. Format them like so. You can copy this screen if you really have to. I'll click on both of them just for the people at home. Now we have to turn this into a circle. So add a node called coordinate space and change this to polar to rectangular. Before coordinate space, add another transform node. With this transform node selected, we can increase the height. And you can see that increases the size of the circle that we have. Now this step is very important. Also, make sure to preview this. Make sure you're always previewing the correct thing. This step is very important. Make sure that nothing is clipping outside of this box right here. For example, like this part. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. You don't want this to happen. So whenever you find like a loud part like this, just bring it down a little bit. Or if that's not possible, you can go here and change the scale. Another thing you can do is uncheck this box, use size and aspect, and then squeeze this down. That'll like also technically reduce the scale, if you could say. Now let's address the elephant in the room. This is a very squashed circle. So let's add another transform node after the coordinate space. And we can rename this to circleify. And we can rename this to fixing it. And with this, you just want to, squeeze it like that. But I don't actually recommend you doing this. Instead, if you want to be more accurate, you can use size and aspect, and over here, you can type in 1.777, and that'll make it perfectly spherical or circular. And what's pretty interesting about this, I know none of you care, but this is actually the answer to the ratio of 1920 divided by 1080. You get 1.77. So this is actually the aspect ratio of our original frame right here, which was 1920 times 1080, which is pretty interesting. I know none of you care about math, but I find that pretty interesting. Now we have the audio visualizer. It looks pretty boring, so I have a few steps to spice this up. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to automate the scale. We're going to automate the scale of this thing. So let's add another transform node. We'll rename this to scale. Now to automate the size, we want this to happen as the music plays, right? To automate this attribute, we can go here, right click, modify with modifiers, suck less audio. So that was the plugin we installed earlier. And here we got to paste in the song that we've chosen. One crucial thing that we want to do is from filter off, you want to click this 20 to 300 hertz. And what that'll do is that'll make this audio thing only listen to the bass frequencies. So it'll only listen to the drums, the kicks, right? All of that is within the sub bass range of 20 to 300 hertz, right? And you'll get this really nice, juicy periodic kick, and it's really satisfying. If you don't have this filter, it'll sort of like listen to everything and it will just bob sort of randomly. So I like to keep it at this. Now let's add some rotation, because as you can see, these two corners, they're at the same angle and they will be at the same angle throughout the entire song. So we can add a little bit of rotation by adding another transform node and renaming this to rotation. And what we'll do is go all the way to the start of your clip. Make sure the composition stretches for your entire audio. Go to the start, click add a angle keyframe, go to the end, and then type in your new angle value. In my case, it'll be 720. So this means throughout this entire short clip, this audio visualizer will spin around twice. Now, it still looks pretty boring. Let's actually make it actually look cooler. And that's where the X glow comes in. Yeah, now we have the glow, which is pretty cool. And let's change that a little bit. Now what I want to do is automate the gain or the glowiness of this visualizer based on the audio. So basically when it's really loud, it'll glow really bright, but if it's quiet, it'll sort of like chill over here a little bit. To do that, go here, go to your gain, bump it all the way to the max. The amount of glow that you're seeing right now is the maximum amount of glow that you want your visualizer to cap at. And if you want to change this, just simply change this fall off slider right here. I personally think this is pretty good as a maximum, and as sort of normal chilling range, it's about here. Now let's automate the gain. Right click, modify with, modifiers, suck less audio. Paste in the song, reload sample, and as you can see, it's modifying the gain. Now, I like to go here, amplitude scale, and then just absolutely crank this to the absolute max. You want this value to be really, okay, I think that's a little bit too much. You want to crank this up as high as possible, like just so you can barely get away with it, because the more glow you have, the better it's gonna look. Okay, right, so that's the visualizer done. We can group this entire thing, Control G, rename this to visualizer. Now let's create the user interface. So that's like the bar at the bottom, the playhead, the text, the time code. So yeah, let's do that. First, let's add a multi-merge node. This will sort of be like the hub of where every single element connects to. So you want to click this and preview it in your first monitor. Now let's add some text. I'm going to add a transform node and connect it to there. In fact, before you do that, always add a background to your multi-merge node before you do anything else. It'll save you a lot of hassle. So now we have our text. Let's type the name of the song. Virtual Riot, that's the author, Idols. Cool. I want the artist's name to be smaller than the name of the song. So what we can do is we can right click character level styling and go here, and then we can just drag. Decrease the size. Now this font is absolutely horrible. MV Bully. That looks a lot cooler. Get rid of the line spacing. And save this. Should be a little bit bigger. Now let's move this sort of to the bottom of our screen. Now we have the name of the song and the artist at the bottom of the screen. Now on the right side, I want to display the time code of the song. So for example, here, I want it to show what time it is. based on, you know, how far you're in the song. So how do we do that? We obviously can't just put this here because we have to animate this text. Well, what you can do is you can right click time code, and that'll bring you the time code. Go up to modifiers and uncheck hours and FMS. That'll get rid of the milliseconds and the hours, and you just have this nice and clean minutes to seconds counter, which is pretty nice. Now let's make the bar at the bottom. I don't know what you call it, like playhead. I don't know. Who cares? To do that, let's make a background. Change this to white or whatever color you want your bar to be. Put that there. Now don't panic because we're gonna mask this background. Add a B spline node. And then just simply click and click. There you go. There you have a line. Border width and slightly increase it. Just like that. Now go here, Control C, Control V, and then increase it a little bit more. And so on this node, the one with the thicker line, you can go here to length. You can change it just like that, which is pretty cool. So what you can do is you can go here, add a keyframe, and then move your playhead all the way to the end, and then drag this all the way to the end. Then boom, you have a working playhead bar thingy. I still don't know what it's called. Now let's add some extra spice to this UI, if you could say. After the multi-merge node, we can add a node called camera shake. Now be aware, there are two different camera shakes. Use this one. Don't use this one with the brackets C shake. Don't use this one, use this one. This one's absolute trash, bro. Always use this one. Add. And if we stop previewing this and we preview this on this node, you can see it adds a little bit of a shake to it. It's a little bit fast, so let's change it down. Speed, I'm going to change it to 0.1 is fine. And I'm going to bump up the motion scale to about 1.7. There, that looks a lot cooler. I'm going to remove this background because it's kind of gay. And we can add some motion blur. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, you could mess with this stuff, but I'm not really bothered to do so. Now, this looks cool, but it's still pretty boring. Time for some more X glow. Oh, yes. Gotta love the X glow. Just tweak it a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Add this like that. Change up the saturation. Change up the glow. Now it's time to add all of this into this. Good way to do that is just add a multi-merge node. Add a multi-merge node and connect that here. Boom. Now, if you play what we have so far, you will find that it is incredibly laggy, and that is mainly due to the Xglow nodes that we have. I will warn you, the Xglow node is absolutely laggy as fucking shit. Like, this is the laggiest node ever, but it looks fire, so like I'm willing to pay the price. But whenever you want to like play something and you don't want it to lag, just take out all the Xglow nodes and you should be fine. Now that's the UI done. Can name this to UI. Now it's time for some particles. Whenever you're making particles in DaVinci Resolve, remember two nodes, P emitter and P render. So we have the particle emitter and the particle render. Remember this. Please don't forget, you have to render the particles after you place this P emitter. Let's disable that and let's view the particles first. This is always annoying because whenever you have a blank default particle emitter node, it's always so small. You literally can't see anything. Go to the style and change this to Ngon. Increase the size all the way to 2. There you go. Much, much better. Now let's change the number down. drastically. Now change region from sphere to line. So we want just a single line, and we want this to be at the bottom. Now I want all the particles to sort of flow upwards. So in here, controls velocity, increase that, and the angle is pretty cool. I want to change this to 90. Now if we play this, yeah, it looks pretty cool, right? You got particles, they're flowing upwards. Now we just need variety. Variety is everything in terms of particles, and as you can see, we have no variety. So just add angle variance, velocity variance, and we can go to style, increase the size variance, and remember all of this is really small, so always you could go in here and just type 3 to make it extra big. And now we have different sized particles, which is pretty cool. A nice little trick that I like to do, because you can see the particles are just abruptly disappearing right here. What I like to do is go to size over life and do that, and make sort of like a curve, which is pretty cool. Isn't that crazy? We can even go to the blur controls. Yeah, I think that looks pretty cool. And yeah, that's all the particles done. Yeah, now we got some nice particles. Now, there's one thing these particles are missing, and that's more X glow. You can never have too much glow, just like that. Now, what I don't like about this is that the particles are sort of overwhelming the UI a little bit. And so a way we can fix that is by adding a merge node and adding a background to the merge node. And then on the merge node, we can change the blend a little bit. And that'll basically blend the particles, and we'd actually have to add a background. Create a background for your big Create a background for your big merge node. One thing you have to keep in mind about these multi-merge nodes is that there is a hidden layer. You can see that there's 4 things connected to it. This is the output. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 things connected to it. But if you go to the layers list, there's only 3 layers. And that is because this yellow node is hidden from this layer. This yellow node is basically the background, and you will not be able to find it in this layer. So if you want to move things up and down, you won't be able to move the background layer up and down. So that's why it's always a good idea to put a background first into a multi-merge node before you do anything. We want the particle layer to be below the UI, and we want it to be a little bit dark by changing the blend like that. Now, sometimes if you did group your visualizer and it disappears like that, just ungroup it, and you can see it's the wrong thing was connected to it. It was this audio waveform thing that was connected to it for some reason. You don't want that. You want the last node to be connected to the multi-merge node, and there you go, the visualizer appears back again. I was kind of struggling that on previous attempts. But yeah, that's the particles done. Now we can group that together, and we can rename this to particles. The last and final step is going to be the background. Now I'm going to change this background to be the Geometry Dash level idols that you saw earlier. I'm sure this is probably not the best way to do it, but I don't care. This is how I'm going to do it. So I'm going to find the start frame of this by seeking to this part, the beginning part of the clip, on my playhead, opening it to Fusion and looking at that. This is frame 2739. And I'm going to the last frame of this subclip, opening in Fusion again and looking at the frame number. And what I can do is I can go back into my Fusion, delete this background node, and don't freak out if you can't see anything. As you can see, I just deleted the background. If you don't have this yellow node, the multi-merge node will not output anything. So if I just get back my background again, you can see everything comes back to life. So I'm gonna drag Idols by Virtual Riot, the Geometry Dash level. I'm gonna drag that in here, and I want this clip to start where this segment of the song starts. So what I can do is I can go to trim and then paste in the start frame that we recalled earlier, and then paste in the end frame that we recalled earlier. Now it's time to do a little bit of adjusting. I'm gonna add a vignette to it, because why not? I'm gonna add some glow. Just some regular glow, not X glow. There's a difference. Then I'm gonna darken it a little bit. So I'm gonna add a merge and then a background. And then I'm gonna change the blend just like that. We can control how bright it is. I'm gonna keep it dark. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You can control group that, and this will be the backgrounds. And yeah, that is our visualizer done. Now, do not try to play this. It will literally fry your computer. You want to drag this over to your media pool and rename it as composition, so that you don't lose it. So let's say if you accidentally deleted the clip, you can just drag it back just like that. Yeah, now all it takes is you can render in place, or you could just directly export it. This will take a very long time, and I only have like a 20-second segment of a song. If you have a full feature song and you did this entire tutorial by scratch, first of all, I just want to say thank you for making it this far into the video. And also, if you don't have like a NASA grade computer, it's gonna take like at least 3 hours to render. You can see this is already gonna take 28 minutes to render because of all the X glow that we used, but I don't care. Cooking is cooking. We let our computers cook. So yeah, I'll see you when it's done exporting. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy this video. Please make sure to like and subscribe. If you guys have any problems, anything, please tell me in the comments section down below, because I feel like that was literally the easiest thing ever. Literally anyone could follow it, anyone could learn how to do this. But if you do encounter some problems, let me know in the comments. Yeah, thanks. See ya.
Come now.
Oh, hey, you're still here. That's crazy. You made it this far. Well, in that case, I have a little bonus for you. Right, let's see what we can do. Yeah, it's still lacking something. You know, I feel like the colors should change a little bit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add adjustment clip. So yeah, I'm just gonna add a few filters, if you should say. So I'm just gonna go here, add a color corrector. And we're just gonna, you know, change the hue a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And for this one, we can make this, I don't know, green or something, yellowish. Make this blue. It's crazy. And then this one, we can make it, well, what should we make this one? Guys, comment your favorite color down below. Oh, the classic yellow. Yeah, and then we just duplicate it, I guess. And yeah, now we have cool color transition.
Come now.
And also, I feel like the laser part should have more, you know, laser-y stuff. I'm just gonna go here. And for this adjustment clip, add, I don't know, invert luminance, because why not? Transform, zoom in on a random spot for no reason, and then flip it for no reason. Actually, we'll do the transforming and the flipping separately. We'll take that, Control X, add another one, and then we'll paste that in there. Yay, now we just duplicate this here. That is horribly off sync. Yay, now we just duplicate that over here. And then here we can add a cool little radial blur, I think. Directional blur, radial, and we can keyframe the length. Yo, this glow is crazy. Yeah, that's sick. That's sick. Yay, now we get this cool thing. It's fucking laggy as shit, but you get the point. It looks way better than what we did just now. Yeah, adding these adjustment layers really adds spice to your visualizer if you really want to give that extra oomph. But, you know, I mean, this is still fine, I guess. Nah, it's not fine. Bro, this is fire. But yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. This is it for real. For real, this is the end of the video. But yeah, I love you.